Welcome back to another video with the Bearded Builder. I'm Jason. On this video we are going to build some planter boxes. So here I have, it's actually a small, but it is essentially the same as what the medium is going to be as far as the overall design. This is a squared box. This one is 16 inches by 16 inches this way and 16 inches tall. The medium is going to be the same design. Like I said, it is just going to be 24 inches wide, 24 inches long, and 24 inches tall. We are also going to build a large, which I have a few display boxes here. That bottom one is large. That one does have the optional X-frames in it. This is for one customer. These are only sold locally. I don't ship these, mainly because there's a market for these in pretty much every major city. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to make these. You're welcome to kind of follow along. I'm not going to necessarily do a step-by-step and teach you how to do those. If that's something you are interested in, comment below. Tell me. I can make a more in-depth video showing exact sizes and how to do this. Alright, so here we have our sides and our legs cut. Again, we have 4 boards here at 23 inches long, 4 boards at 22 inches long, and then we have these 4 cut at 23.5 inches. We are going to run these through the table saw, cut them down, rip them down to make our legs. Alright, we've got our legs ripped down. They're going to go together just like so. It's going to create an L, and your overall, to give you an idea, super close to 3 inches that way. I'll show you how to put these together. We're going to use Titebond 3. It is a water resistant glue, and we're going to use a brad nailer. This is just a Ryobi. Alright, so back to these. We're going to glue these in an L shape. We're just going to run a bead of glue down this edge, put that board on, and then we're going to use our brad nailer. I have 18 gauge 1.25" nails in there. So I like to start in just a hair from the end and keep it fairly close to the edge, and then stop shy of there. That just helps from your glue completely pressing out of there. I'm going to set that board on. I'm going to flush it up to the end like so. Make sure that's flush. Then I'm going to take the brad nailer and I'm just going to nail. So I do the one end, then I come over, set that down like so. We're going to line this end up, flush on this edge. I don't want to touch it because I got some glue squeeze out right there, which we're going to wipe off. But get that flushed up, run your nail in, and then go ahead and run them on down. And as you go, just make sure your edge is flush all along the. And then when this glue dries, it's going to create a very strong bond between the wood. Not going to have an issue with this pulling apart. We're going to go ahead and wipe that up. Wipes up very easy. You have a little bit of squeeze out on the inside. You don't have to worry about that too much. Alright, we got all 4 legs done. Anyway, next step, you're going to lay your legs out we're going to start with the 23-inch boards. I like to grab 2 scrap pieces of wood, lay those out. That just gives me an idea where to lay my glue out. I'll do it on this side real quick, a little better angle on the camera. I'm just going to start about there, run my glue up, got a little too close to that end. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. You don't have to use these scrap pieces, but it just helps me out. And we're going to put those aside. We're going to get the 23-inch here. We're going to lay that on there on each leg, get it flush right to the top. And then these are 1¼ inch nails, like I said before. So we're actually going to run those nails at a slight angle so they don't blow out the other end. So we are going to nail that at an angle. I put 2 at the bottom, 2 in the middle, 2 at the top. And do the same thing over here. Just make sure you're flush here, make sure you're tight up against that edge. And then 6 nails in that one as well. And then I'm going to do the bottom board. We got that side done. Got that. We're going to grab our other 2 legs and do the same thing. So, got that done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set this up on the edge. We're going to use our little template pieces. We're going to put them over here now because we're going to put our sideboards on, and those are just going to help support that end up. So we're going to get that kind of set where we need to. Put our glue down here and get our boards on. And this is going to be the same thing. Make sure you're flush at the top. Angle your nails. Just want to make sure we get everything fairly tight because this is going to shrink. We're going to turn this over. You guys aren't going to be able to see it on this side. But just going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to get the other side that we did. We're going to glue each end of this and then set it on there. And get that nailed in place. On there, I'm going to just get this flipped over and just kind of hurry on getting that on. We're going to start on this side, get this flush lined up, run our nails in. Same thing on the back board. And then same thing on this side. We got that all set. We're going to move on to the next step here. Alright, so for the next step, I got you guys set up here. We're looking inside of the box. I have, from the same pickets, cut these down, rip these down rather, into 1-inch strips. We're going to put those strips on the bottom. You're going to measure in between those 2 boards there. At the bottom, we're going to get our length. We're about 21 3/4 on both ends. So we'll cut 2 of those and get those put in. Alright, so once you have those cut, I always like to make sure they're going to fit perfect. And perfect. So we're going to take these boards, run a bead of glue just down the center of it. And then this, I'm binding up in there a little bit. This is going to go at the bottom, just like so. You're going to make sure it's flush to the bottom of that board. So on this back end here. And then we're going to nail it down. Just go along, put in 3 or 4 nails along the bottom there and make sure you're angling them so they don't poke out the bottom or the side. Once it's actually sitting up, it'll be the side. And then we're going to take and flip this thing over. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Take a strip. We're going to be glue. And stick in place. Then I'll add some glue on the other side to wipe up. I am going to get that. Any direction's fine. Multiple directions, other angles, it's any better. So the same one. I'm just going to wipe up any glue I saw in there. I saw a little bit up there. And get all that glue wiped up. And we're ready to move on. Alright, now I got the planter down on the floor. So we're going to put in the bottom boards that go across the bottom now. I know I can for sure fit 4 in there, so I already got those cut. You guys don't have to stick around listening to me cut those now. We're going to run a bead of glue on our support boards that we put in. Just run that right across there, both sides. And then I put a board in on either side. I cut these tight at 22 inches. Boards in there, get it nice and tight, tight up into those edges, and then do the same on this side. Get that in there nice and tight, put it up against that edge. So we're going to make sure again those are tied up against there. Put 2 nails on either corner of each board. These can go straight down because that strip was 1 inch thick, so it's plenty. Make sure that's pushed up tight. And then we're going to put in the other 2 boards. And we should have just a small little centerpiece. Oh. Maybe not. Let's see if we can actually make this fit. Oh, it's so close. I don't think we can get it. We're going to have to rip the side of this off ever so slightly. Alright, that'll do it for sure. And again, these don't have to be super tight. They are going to end up shrinking up. So go ahead and nail those ones in. Alright, we got that set. Alright, here we go for the last step, I believe. I have these already cut out. These are from the same picket, 1.5 inches wide. You're going to rip those down into strips. You can take your tape measure, measure the inside dimension, and then you're going to take from your 45, and you're going to measure from the end here, the shorter end, and you're going to take that inside dimension, and that's what that is going to be from one end to the other on the shorter end. The other way you could do this, like I said, cut your first 45, lay it on there to where that corner is right inside of the corner of that box. Take your pencil on this side, mark it, and then cut that 45. And since this is an equal sided box, I have 4 of those cut equally. Next step we're going to do, we're going to start on one side. I'm just going to run a bead of glue on there, and it's just going to be a real small bead. Kind of keep it tight. Try not to wobble all over the place like I did, because then you're going to have more glue squeeze out and just more to wipe up. So just get that on there. You're going to line up this inside corner with the inside corner of the box. Blow a nail in there, straight down is fine. This side lines perfectly up. Get a nail in there, and then you're going to put nails in the center. I do probably 3 across there would be fine. And just make sure your inside is flush all the way across. Did everything right when you're coming up to the last board. Get that set in there. Should be damn near perfect from one end to the other. Let's get that nailed on, and then once we get that board nailed on, we are going to put some nails in on both sides of each corner. Last piece nailed on. I've got those corners nailed in from each side, from the sides, on each side of that corner. Now I like to take a sander, run it across the top, run it across the sides, make sure to hit those corners, and then I run it at kind of a 45-degree angle along the outside and the inside edge of that. So we'll do that real quick. Alright, so that's done. As you saw, it's just a quick down and dirty sand. Kind of knocks down any high spots, and then it softens these edges just a hair. So that's the only reason I do that. Now the very last step we're going to do here, you're going to take your 1-inch strip. So we'll cut 4 of them at 8 inches, and then those are going to go inside, and they're going to support the top and bottom board in the center. Cut. You're just going to take them, bead a glue down the center, get in the center of the box there, and then just angle the nails again. That is our medium box. I do have to make a large one as well. That one again was 60 inches long, 24 inches wide, 24 inches tall. So it's going to be that same box. It'll just be longer. I am going to do that. I don't think I'm going to film it. It's going to be the same process as that one. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like, subscribe, follow along. We're going to do all kinds of different projects. We have other different planters to do. This one's sitting sideways. This is a bench planter. We have miniature picnic tables. We have the barn door farmhouse gates, as will be seen in another video. We do barn doors. Also on this channel we'll do construction work, automotive work, all the good stuff. So please follow along, help support the channel. I'm going to try and do better and better as we go along, try and grow. So I'd appreciate it. Thanks again. See you next time.